and welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. So happy to welcome Susie Maioriello and Erica Loffman from the Weaver Child Development Center. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And we will call you Miss Susie and Miss Erica, as the kids do, on the Weaver Child Development Center. First of all, Susie, your position there, and tell me a little bit about what you do.
I'm the director and principal of the school, so I do a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. But yeah, I just kind of run the programs, and honestly, my biggest job is making sure the teachers and the children are happy.
That's a fun job. And you, prior to that, though, you were a teacher?
Yes. I've been in education for well over 20 years. I'm also an adjunct professor at Walsh University, so I teach classes in early childhood education. So it's nice my students get to come over to the school and see best practices.
Right, and get to really see what it's like. I think that's so smart now. We're a little bit ahead of the game these days, allowing college students to get into a real classroom earlier. Back in the olden days, you didn't do that until you were student teaching, and if that was not really what you were called to do, you didn't know that until you were there student teaching. So how smart to be able to have students learn early. Erica, you were one of those students that got a little chance and saw what this was about and have become a teacher. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
I was a Malone graduate, and I did volunteer. Well, we did field experience through programs at Malone at the CDC, so I did that. And then when I was grown up and had my first child go to preschool, that's, of course, where I went, because I had experience there. And so when my daughter was 4, she's 18 now, that's where I first started with the CDC as a parent. And then a few years after that, I joined up as a teacher. So that's where I've been. And I teach the 3s preschool right now, and I also teach art to the primary kids in the afternoon.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, I can tell you right now, you're one of my granddaughter's favorite classes. As soon as she started going all day, a couple days a week, she told me how fun art was. That's very, very cool. So what makes Weaver just a little bit different, Susie?
That's a good question. When people come and they tour the school, I share with them, we meet all the standards that the state requires you to meet. We have programs for toddlers clear up through 3rd grade, but how we meet those standards is what's unique and what makes us different. I like to say that we honor this time in our lives called childhood. So we honor childhood, and we honor the way children learn best. You'll see children working hard academically, and you'll see them playing hard too at our school.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people, once they hit that 3rd grade mark, they're like, oh, please extend it. We don't want to leave Weaver. Any plans to continue it on? Or does 3rd grade seem to be what you that's the mark?
Right, that's the mark. We do early childhood really good.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's just where we're at right now, but we do hear that quite often.
Oh, you've got parents ready to do a fundraiser. And
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're ready for it. But I love what you're saying, that do what you do really, really well. That you are early childhood and preschool and toddler. So you even are thinking about just those very, very early years where children are just learning how to learn. What's the difference? What's offered to, like, say, in the toddler program, and then how you build on that through 3rd grade?
Well, the toddler program is once a week, and it's sort of like a mommy and me, or a grandma or grandpa or aunt, uncle and me. The toddlers come with an adult with them, and we adjust the 3s room with developmentally appropriate activities for toddlers. It does change a little bit.
Like what? Like what do they get to play with?
Like right now in the 3s room, we're playing with flubber, and it's sort of like a slime thing. And in the 3s room, we have these stands that I got from a locker stand, and you put the flubber on top and it strings down and they can cut it, but the toddlers would not be able to do that. So
Right.
They just get flubber with cups and scissors. So we'd sort of just adjust the activities to be more developmentally appropriate for the toddlers. And so basically toddler day is that, and we set up the room and the parents get to interact with their little one. And they get to do a lot of messy things that they would never do at home. So they love that. And so then that's pretty much the toddler. We do a very short group time because they're not ready to sit on the carpet. Really, we do a song and a quick story. And that just gets them, it helps them to know the room, because if they do come to threes, then we're the same teachers in the same room, and they've met us, and they've been in there with us with their mom or their safe person. And so then when they do come to threes, it really helps with separation anxiety, because they've already been in the classroom. They know Judy, who's my partner. They know both of us. And so the transition from toddler time then to the threes class, when they come to school for the first time without mom or dad, usually is a lot easier.
It feels homey already.
Right.
What you're talking about, though, as far as you're talking about advancing to the threes, that means a 3-year-old, they're the big kids. How old are the toddlers that you're working with?
It's 18 months, or
Or
no,
2
24
years.
months
Yeah.
until up to 3-year-olds can come into the
Okay, so the youngest student that you have at Weaver would be 24 months old. What should parents do at home to prepare them for that? Should they go out and buy some flubber and give kids that feeling, the sensory feeling of playing with the mushy stuff, or save that for school?
I mean, I think that's up to a parent, you know what I mean, what you're comfortable with. I'm an artsy person, so like my kids had all that kind of messy stuff. I don't mind a mess, but there are some parents who don't really like that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We're all wired differently. But I think what we offer in the toddler program is a chance to see what that's like. And some of the kids have never even been to like even church, Bible school or anything, so this is their very first experience in that type of environment.
Wow.
With all those different kids, you know.
How do you get kids used to being with other kids? Let's say it's an only child and this is their first time in the room where they're not the center of the world.
Yeah, well, you just sort of put them in. I mean, and I feel like that's why with the toddlers, they're with someone who makes them feel safe and they're comfortable. Some of the toddlers will not leave the side of their parent. Other toddlers will say, see you later, like they don't care where their parent is in the room. But it's just every child's different, you know. So, but it's just a really good time for them to come and to just get their feet wet and see what school's like, and hopefully if it's a positive experience, then they look forward to coming to preschool when it's just them.
And the hours available are what?
Toddlers are on Wednesday mornings from 9:15 to 11:15, and we have 2 12-week sessions. So the beginning of the school year, first semester, there's 12 weeks they come, and then after Christmas break, second semester, they come for another 12 weeks.
Readiness seems to be something everybody talks about as far as, and I'm thinking kindergarten readiness. So if before a child is going to actually start formal schooling do we consider kindergarten formal schooling now?
Sure. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do we consider before that formal schooling, or is that more pre?
That's more, preschool is more of a parent's choice. So, yeah.
But kindergarten used to be a parent's choice.
That's true.
And
That
now
is true.
that's definitely something that all children are required, right?
Kindergarten, yes. Yes.
So what's the best way to get children ready? What can people do, parents and grandparents, in their time with their child to prepare them for readiness?
For kindergarten, I think, reading to your child as much as you can, getting together with other children just, so that they know they aren't the only person in the world, so that they get used to being with others and interacting with others. But yeah, I mean, it's, when they come to Weaver, we look at the kindergarten child for kind of like this open brain that's ready to learn all of these new skills. So we're not, I have parents call and say, well, do they need to know all their letters when they come into kindergarten? And we, because we're a developmentally appropriate school, we say, no, that's why we're here.
That's right, exactly. Save
Is
something
to
for us.
those,
to
yeah, so we expose the children to all of those concepts, and when they're ready, they will grasp those.
Has programming like Sesame Street made a difference in the way children learn and how ready they are when they arrive at your door?
I don't think there's anything wrong with Sesame Street, but we take in preschool that we have no media, no TVs, no computers, but they don't really need that. I mean, at home, I understand that parents, because I did it. My kids were Barney kids, So,
Yeah.
so I had to make dinner. Let's turn on Barney for half an hour, I think there's some benefit to that, but I feel like more than that, those types of things, being able to experience things, getting out into nature, exercising, not even exercising, just being active outside. You have to sort of mold that whole thing. And not that, we just did a workshop last week on screen time for students and young kids and stuff. And they're actually starting a new study. It's going to be a 10-year study, and the first findings are finding that it's actually quite detrimental, screen time. That was I think what we learned was like 2 hours, over 2 hours is actually detrimental to a young child's brain. So that's a little...
That's very scary when you think of how much screen time many children are getting. Is it okay for a while? Is it good at a point and then bad afterwards,
it's
like
not
exercise?
The technology itself, it's the overuse of it.
Yes.
Is what's the problem. So like watching, Sesame Street is fine, but if that's all you do all day, then you're only growing that one pathway of the brain, and you're not getting all those. You need music, you need other experiences outside, playing at the playground, the library. I mean, all those different things. You're building more pathways by multiple activities.
They used to say play is a child's work. Is that still considered to be true?
Absolutely, yes.
So you work in a lot of playtime. It is not a Montessori school.
Right.
Remind me the philosophy behind it and what you are.
Sure. We're a Reggio-inspired school, and basically there's all kinds of elements to that. But basically what that is, we're very child-centered. Project-based learning is at the forefront. So whenever possible, if the children can learn different concepts through their senses and doing hands-on projects, we're going to do that. If the children, there's a majority of children that have an interest in something like trains, for instance, then the teachers will have the children build a train with tracks and then incorporate all kinds of learning activities around that interest.
So fun. About how large are the classes?
Our preschool classrooms, we have a total of 30 children in each of the classrooms, but no more in the threes classroom, no more than 15 come at a time. In our fours preschool classroom, typically 18 children at a time. Both of those classrooms have 2 teachers. All of our teachers, including the preschool teachers, they have early childhood degrees or elementary education degrees, and they are all licensed by the state of Ohio. Our kindergarten classroom, typically around 24, 25 children. Right now, this year, we have 16 in first grade, I think 12 or 13 in second, and then we have 7 third graders.
Oh, man, how fun. And with 2 teachers, they're getting a lot of attention.
Yeah. And student teachers.
That's what I was just going to throw in. As you are there, you've got to include also that teachers are learning how to be teachers.
Right.
Future teachers are learning how to be teachers. So you've got like more than, it's like everybody's
ratios.
got their own.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So you also get the benefit of combined classes with some kindergarten and first graders getting to work together. I know that used to be really, really beneficial back in the days of the single schoolhouse, that one schoolhouse. And that was the good part, was that sometimes the little ones would learn from the older ones. Tell me a little bit about that.
We do our kindergarten and first grade. They are multi-age, and then they split up when appropriate. So their math curriculum is going to be done separately with the different grade levels. And then second and third grade, they work together on many different things and, again, split up when appropriate. But it's fun to see the kids work all together. And then sometimes we get them all together, K through third. It's fun to see those third graders become leaders and kind of take the little ones under their wings. We have a praise and worship time with the kiddos every week, and all of us get together. The
Neat.
threes clear through third grade, so that's a lot of fun.
Oh, very, very cool. We are visiting with Miss Susie and Miss Erica, both from the Weaver Child Development Center. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community.